Hello, welcome to the Home Brister. Today I'm going to talk about why buy a Classic. Why buy a Gaggia Classic, and hopefully I'll go through some of the reasons why I recommend these. Firstly, the biggest thing is the longevity of them. These machines here, the new Gaggia Pros, these are the 24 model, this is the 29 model here. They're built very much like the ones there in the corner. And those machines over there, you can see the one in the far right hand corner there, that is from around about 2000, so it's about 25 years old, and all of them share parts, so they can be interchanged there. So I can use the boiler from there into here, the group heads as well, the pumps, so all of those different parts can be used across the range of Classics. And you can see from the number of machines that I've got there how long they last. I regularly service Classics that are 20 years old, and you can get them looking and performing just like new, with a relatively cheap, inexpensive service. Parts as well are also readily available for both the old Classics and the new Classics as well, and they're fairly cheap to get as well and fairly cheap to purchase. So that's the first reason why you should think about buying a Classic. The second thing is, one of the reasons why they do last so long is the quality of the parts that are there. When you think of some, I'm not going to go into some of the machines that I come across now, the kind of newer machines, when you take them apart, they are plastic. Inside the Classic here, it is very much a commercial machine inside a very small footprint. So here you can see this is the group head that is in a Classic Pro. It's very similar. This one's got a brass sort of group head in the new ones there, but they're incredibly heavy. And this group head here is very much like the group head that you will see inside a high-end coffee machine and in coffee machines that you will find in a coffee shop. In the fact, you'll see some machines where they've got 3 or 4 group heads because they're making, they can make 4 or 5 coffees at the same time because they need to. So one of the reasons why it is so quality, it is heavy, lasts a lifetime, that group head, and the parts there, as I mentioned before, are well built and they are commercial quality. The reason why they're commercial quality as well, and what that can do for you, is the coffee then it can also be better than the coffee shops. Once you turn the Classic on, within a couple of minutes it will say the machine is ready to make a coffee. However, I advise just waiting a good 5-10 minutes, or certainly a good 10 minutes, so this group head becomes really, really hot. The advantage of that is, when you make a coffee then and the water runs through, once it hits this group head that is then hot and it's the same temperature as the boiler, the water consistency of temperature will be the same as it flows through. Quite a lot of people make the mistake of, when this light comes on, they've turned the machine on, within a minute or two the light comes on saying it's ready, and they'll make a coffee. So you've got some nice hot water in that boiler, but then it's coming through a cold group head. And because it's a solid steel group head, that temperature is going to drop pretty quickly. And then therefore that has an effect on your coffee. 2 things are important in coffee, and that is temperature and pressure. With all the Classics here, you can also change the pressure. And changing the pressure, I believe, and many experts do as well, changing the pressure to 9 bar, which is a commercial standard, also enables far better tasting espresso. Gaggia make standard around about 12 to 15 bar, and that is for use of pods that you can do. However, making great espresso, drop that, get your own grinder, a good quality grinder, and drop it to 9 bar, and you then have got a machine that is capable of producing, as I've said, better than coffee shops. So the parts are really well built, they're quality. The next thing is obviously the ability to modify these. You'll see here I've I've started to modify this one by putting in something there to actually attach to the pressure gauge. So I'm going to add a pressure gauge to this one, just like in the modified ones here. So the ability to modify. So by modifications, what I talk about there is one, obviously modifying it to 9 bar, which gives it, a better tasting espresso, more rounded flavors. The second modification that I advise is adding the PID here. So the PID is all about regulating and controlling that temperature much more consistently. The stock Gaggia comes with a thermostat here, a mechanical thermostat, so it will go hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. A PID controls that temperature so it is stable all the way through. And as I've mentioned in my other videos, why add a PID, why add a gauge, we can play around with temperature as well for light roast, dark roast, and things like that. So you can modify it. So you can add a PID, you can add a dimmer and a gauge, so you can do some pressure profiling, again in machines costing 2,000 plus. You can do some pre-infusions and blooming, so you can do, bloom your coffee, so you can do a range of different things. There's also now a new super steamer, so I've just fitted a super steamer into this white one here, and when you steam, then basically it pulses water into the boiler, so that steam power is maintained throughout and basically gives you almost endless steam power. So a range of modifications that you can do. The beauty of it as well is you can buy a standard classic and you can live with that for a few years, and when you want to upgrade, you're not going to get a new machine. All you have to do is add a modification, and pound for pound it will massively beat any competitors at the price range you can do by adding those modifications. There is another modification to do with a Gaggia. I don't fit the Gaggia at the moment. One of the reasons is, if you're going to fit the Gaggia, you need to understand how it works and how, to problem solve should anything go wrong. So I advise, if you're going to fit that, fit it yourself, because if anything goes wrong, you need to be able to understand how that goes on. However, with the PID, the dimmer and the gauge and the super steamer that I kind of install, they're relatively simple to fix. You could do yourself, or again sent back to me. So you can modify them over time as well. You can buy that simple classic, and over time you can add things as and when you kind of want, and if you wanted to upgrade your coffee experience. So they are fantastic parts, really quality. They will last 20, 30, 40 years if looked after, and because they're quality and they're made from quality commercial parts, they can also match the high-end machines, but again it's just in a very simple footprint that is suitable for a home kitchen. So that is why I recommend the Classic. If you have any questions, then do get in touch. My name is Anthony at The Home Baristas.